looked it up and like took a picture of it.
Yeah, I looked it up in like 2 seconds.
Maron.
And you just know he was like, God damn it, I can't believe I'm putting this shit in here. Like
I don't know why they hate it so much. They're
I don't know
haters.
either.
We won't
Whatever.
get into it though.
No,
It's an off-air discussion. Dude, this fucking Santa hat is too small for my head.
Oh, crap.
This is horrible.
You know how Seamus said that he almost forgot his phone?
Your phone?
Yeah.
What do you need your phone for, Sam? To push the pod. Never mind.
Push. Let me push.
Do you want to push, dude?
I'm pushing now.
Oh, very nice.
It is on Twitter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
Guantanamera. It's a beautiful, beautiful night for a little Christmas Wolves special.
All right, let's do it.
Well, yeah, let's hop into it, buddy.
3, 2, 1. Philly!
Hello, everybody. Hello, Philadelphia. Welcome back once again to yet another edition of the Wolves of Broad Street podcast. As always, my name is Ryan Conway, and joining me here is my illustrious co-host and wartime consigliere, Sam Glavin. And, of course, we have our producer behind the glass, Seamus G, chopping things up for us on the back end, you know, showing us your comments and all that good stuff. Boy, oh boy, it's been an eventful week. We got COVID going on. We had the Eagles play on a Tuesday night. NBA games getting shut down left and right. And guess what, Sam? Christmas is on Friday. Christmas Eve is on Friday. So we're in the middle of a shitstorm of a week. But luckily, Sam, through all of the crap that, society is going through right now, despite the spike in cases, we've got a spike in wins for the Eagles right now, up to 500, tied for the last wild card spot. But the Vikings do have the head-to-head tiebreaker after our big win over the Washington football team. And Sam, you watched the game. I watched the game. Mm-hmm. I'm sure everyone out here watched the game. I mean, my God, what an encouraging sight to see. See the defense play the way they did, the offense especially firing on all cylinders, especially in the running game. I mean, how you feeling, Sam, going into these last few games?
I feel great. I mean, the offense is clicking, firing on all cylinders. I mean, the last couple of games, they weren't really against real opponents, but I always have to keep reminding myself that not to be a Grinch or a Scrooge, you might say. But the thing that I'm most impressed with so far is one, the offensive line, guys just stepping in and saying, you know what, we're just gonna bowl people over. Don't care who it is. People forget, people are saying all day, like on the radio and stuff, like, oh, they were playing against like a depleted defense. Their defensive line was intact, minus Chase Young. So that says something. Second, Jalen Hurts, dude. Like Jalen Hurts. I mean, after take out the first quarter, right? He was magnificent. I mean, yeah, Seamus G's got the stats pulled up. He was 20 for 26 completion. He was 76% completion rate, 296 yards passing. I mean, that's all you can ask for. I mean, that's good stuff.
Yeah, man. I mean, he had that one interception, but that doesn't even count. Like, that was
it shouldn't count.
That was a drop. It was not even that was not even like a bad ball that like, oh, he got his hand on it. No, like Dallas Goedert just dropped it. And then he backheeled it like Neymar to the defensive back. Like, that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And I saw it happen live, and I was like, oh, no, that's a pick. That didn't hit the ground. And then as the replay started playing, I'm like, oh, no. Because, like, that's the last thing you want for Jalen. I mean, especially because, when he protects the football, he's so good. And just him turning the ball over. But it didn't matter. It didn't matter because that was just a fluke. He went out there and he dominated. And he didn't even run the ball that much.
No, he only had 38 yards. Yeah,
296 yards passing. Like, this was a real, quarterback performance out of Jalen Hurts, and he made some impressive throws to the Washington football team killer Greg Ward. His fourth catch of the season and his third touchdown. Your guy, the guy that you scouted in camp back in 2019, you're like, this guy's going to stick around. Not a lot of the guys that we looked at back in camp in 2019 are still here. But Greg Ward is still in the mix, getting those random-ass red zone targets that Sirianni seems to love. And him and Jalen Hurts hooking up along that sideline. There seems to be something about the Eagles on that on that right sideline, going to the right side of the field. It's just something about it. We had Carson, W asterisk NTZ, and then we had Jalen Hurts do it. But it was just great seeing him come out and perform. I understand that was a practice squad secondary he went up against, but he was still making quality throws in tight windows, and our receivers were out there making plays. It was a very encouraging performance, regardless of the perceived strength of the opponent.
Yeah, I mean, Jalen Reagor even got in on the action a little bit, you know?
Yeah, he did.
He's still awful in punt returns and special teams. Like, whoa, like so bad. I don't think I've ever seen him gain like a significant. I have not seen him gain like 5 yards on a punt in weeks. Unbelievable. That guy sucks.
It's rare. It's rare. Yeah. I couldn't pinpoint you a date, but it is rare. But he led all wide receivers in yards. Granted, it was a 57-yard game. It's not like it was the most ridiculous thing in the world. But I mean, because Dallas Goedert had like 150 yards receiving. Yeah. Just absolutely monster game out of the beast. Just absolute beast from Dakota.
Yeah. You know what? I'll tell you what the best part of the game for me was, and you're gonna be not surprised at all. But in the first quarter, Jalen Hurts fumbles the football, right? Immediately comes to the sideline, and Nick Sirianni is chewing his ass out. Like, I've never seen him get visibly upset before. He's chewing him out. Jalen Hurts takes it like a fucking football player, sits on the bench, thinks about it, goes out there. He's the best we've ever seen him since. That's it.
He lit a fire under him.
You think Carson Wentz would have responded like that? Absolutely not.
Doug wouldn't coach like that. That's not what Doug. I've never seen Doug yell at a player on the sideline like that.
No. But the fact that Sirianni is comfortable doing that, and he's comfortable doing that with his star quarterback, who might be here for a little while longer after that game. I mean, that's what I want to see. That's gritty, and I fucking love that.
That's great. I mean, he talked about it in his post-game press conference today, the Victory Wednesday press conference. And he was like, Jalen and I have we're honest with each other. And he's like, his dad coached him hard. My dad coached me hard. We have that in common. And I'm just giving it to him the way that I know it works. And it's just like he's connecting with these guys on a personal level. His quarterback especially is so important, especially as an offensive-minded head coach. If you're going to be calling plays for this guy, you got to know what works and what doesn't. And we've seen that happen. It's clear that the relationship between him and Jalen Hurts has grown stronger over time, and it's clear that that's translated into better football. I mean, ever since, we started realizing he's not to throw the ball 50 times a game, started running for, 175 yards every game for like 6 straight games. Like, that's just a different thing. It's great to see a head coach recognize what needs to be done, knows what buttons to push, knows when to give it to Jalen, knows when to back off a little bit, because you saw him celebrating hard with him after he scored that touchdown. So that's awesome to see. Sirianni, man, he didn't play around. I mean, you were telling me how impressed you were with his play calling against the Jets, and he did it again. I mean, Sirianni, as much credit as we can and we will give to everybody on that offense, Nick Sirianni called an incredible game. Threw the predictable stuff out of the window and just called the perfect game for, the opponent that we were facing.
Yeah. Oh, some of the stuff that I was like so creative. I mean, there was one where he handed the ball off to, I think it was Jordan Howard, and then Jordan Howard pitched it to Miles Sanders. Did you see that one?
Yeah.
That one was crazy.
Some funky stuff.
Yeah. It was, I loved the creativity that I saw there, and like getting Dallas Goedert involved. So getting Devontae Smith involved a little bit more. Devontae Smith has been more of like a bailout for Jalen Hurts, more than he's been like a number one receiver as of late, at least, which I guess is fine. But like, I'd rather see him get the targets as more as as opposed to like a check down, That he had that one amazing catch by the sideline that was called incomplete at first, but Nick Sirianni threw the challenge flag. Another great coaching move. I mean, that was,
oh my God, yeah. Dude, that catch was unreal. That was like Julio Jones level, like not exaggerating in any way, shape, or form. And I love to exaggerate. Yeah, it's one of my fortes is exaggeration and hyperbole, and I can't even come up with something. Can't even come up with something to to apply to that. It was just an absolute like stud play out of Devontae Smith on that sideline, and I do wish that we could get him involved more. But like, It's weird how like that's the one like criticism I have of this offense. Even though we're scoring points and we're winning games, like you have this guy. It's like I get it. There's only so many yards to go around, but it's just like I feel like you got to look his way more. And I know
Yeah.
sure teams are game planning. I'm sure I'm sure they're taking him out of the equation to some degree. But like there was a do you see that play last night? It was it was when Jalen Hurts scored that touchdown, and we
Mhm.
had like three receivers and a tight end right, and then we had Mailata at left tackle, obviously, and then Devontae Smith lined up right
At
next to
tight
him,
end. Yeah. At tight
down like
end. He was
that
tight
as
end.
our
Yeah.
second tight end, and I was just like, "You've got bigger wide receivers on that side of the field." And I guess because you're running a sneak, it doesn't matter because they're not really going to blow it up from the outside of the line. It's you got to crash middle to stop that.
Yeah.
But it's just I'm just like, is this what we want to do with Devon? Like not that it even matters because we're scoring touchdowns, we're
Yeah.
winning games. I don't care who scores them, but it just I am curious when we're going to see more because I know that he can be that 100 yards a game type guy.
Yeah.
We've seen
I
him
mean,
do it. We've seen the flashes.
yeah. I mean, we've definitely seen that, but I was just you reminded me that Devontae Smith is quite literally half the size of every offensive lineman. Half the size, and he's just so small. But he's making these plays he's a big guy, like he's a Devontae Adams or like a Julio Jones kind of guy. Like if he gets bigger like over the offseason, I mean, I don't know. I actually don't know how tall he is. But if
It's like
he
six
puts on
foot.
yeah, 6 foot. Okay, so not that tall. If he puts on some serious weight, like the guy's gonna be scary. It's gonna be
Mm-hmm.
scary.
He is a slender guy. He is a slender
Slim
guy,
Reaper.
and I mean, I don't really see like the thing is I don't even see it affecting him at this level that right
No,
now. Like that's not it. That hasn't been the issue. He just hasn't been getting the football. But like
that's true.
that's just. Well, I mean, let's move away from the negatives because there should be no negatives at least for the offense last night after that first quarter
Yeah,
because
after the first
especially
quarter.
just how we ran the football. I mean,
Mm,
the way we've been running the football all year long. We have 7 first half rushing touchdowns. We have 14 second half rushing touchdowns. We're wearing teams down. We're getting into the end zone, and it's great to see.
mm-hmm.
It's great to see. Just us hang big numbers on everybody and then have Sirianni not even be surprised. Most teams don't run for that much. Most
True.
coaches, when they run for 175 yards, are like, oh, holy shit, that was out of nowhere. Sirianni was like, no,
Mm-hmm.
that's what we game planned to do. And we came out and we ran the ball down their throats.
Yeah, and they did, and you might crucify me for saying this, but I still felt like there was some meat left on the bone. Like I felt like we could have had at least 300 plus yards that game if Miles Sanders because Miles Sanders had a great game. Don't get me wrong, but he wasn't he wasn't breaking tackles or anything like that very well that game. For some, there's something it's just something I noticed. I don't know why he wasn't getting. There were many moments where I thought he could have broken free for way more yards, but he got tackled. So I just noticed something that was just something that I noticed. And Jordan Howard didn't get the ball until the second quarter. So that was weird, I thought. And he played great. I mean, he got the ball in the second quarter and he still had what, 65 yards, something like that, which is awesome. I love seeing Jordan Howard get the ball. I love the dynamic between Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard. Miles Sanders, doing the dance, running out to the outside, and Jordan Howard just right up the middle, north south.
Oh, it's great.
It's
Yeah.
awesome.
The running back committee that we have right now is excellent. And the thing is, dude, you're not wrong that we could have really done a lot of damage. I mean, I guess part of that is like the virtue of the run game. Like once you get in the second level, it's just like, can you make a guy miss? It comes down to those matchups. But I mean, regardless of the fact that Miles Sanders, there were some runs that he could have broken off for even longer, potentially to go for a score. He still averaged 7.9 yards a carry.
Yeah, which
That's
is
what's
unreal.
crazy. Is like
Mm-hmm.
I fully agree with you that we could have gashed them for 100 more rushing yards if like some tackles got missed. Like if they had like the 2018 Eagles like defense tackling wise, like where they couldn't tackle at all,
Mm-hmm.
like we would have had a lot more rushing yards. We would have had probably 300 rushing yards if they had like a team that couldn't actually wrap up. But crazy dude, Miles Sanders, I mean, I know he's been in and out of the lineup. He's got 700 yards on the season now and has yet to score a touchdown.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yet to score a rushing touchdown. The guy, there's only one person, I believe, in history that had more yards without a touchdown, and he had like 900. So theoretically, Miles Sanders could be on pace to break that record over the next few weeks. He could be the running back with the most rushing yards without getting in the end zone. And part of that is a result of the committee. I'm not going to blame Miles for that. Just the fact that, all right, Miles, we're in the red zone. All right, we're going to throw it 4 times, which was weird at some points in the year. And then other times it's like, all right, we got Kenny G or Jordan Howard who are just going to drop the shoulder after you've basically carried us down the field and get a touchdown.
But I do not blame in the slightest the coaching staff for not giving him the ball in the red zone because of the way he's been handling the football recently.
I understand that, man. There's a lot of bodies in there.
Yeah. You cannot turn the ball over in the red zone. And Miles Sanders has always been a huge culprit of turning the ball over, not being able to hold on to the football. So I get it. And I think it's a great move on Sirianni's part saying, yep, like you're doing your job. Like everybody's got a job for Sirianni. And I love it. I'm fully impressed with Sirianni. And it sucks that I guess we can bring this up now. Before we do that, we can do the offense. Offense versus the Jets. I mean, this is for the Jets, Seamus. Yeah. Anyways, what I was saying is like it sucks that Nick Sirianni just tested positive for COVID this morning, and he was talking in the press conference interview like just as the news broke, saying like, "Here's the plan." Like he laid out the whole plan. So like the head coach would be like the guy who would say, "Go for it on 4th down," or punt the football, or 1 or 2 point convert, like whatever. Would be Kyle, what's his name? Crap. I don't know why I can't remember his name. Patullo.
That guy. Yeah. I remember we had a whole thing about his last name being weird.
Yeah. And then Shane Steichen, the offensive coordinator, will be calling the plays on the offensive side of the ball. But the thing that surprised me the most was they're both simultaneously like calling plays on the side. Like they're both talking to each other about the plays that are being called. But for some reason, Nick Sirianni is getting all the credit or all the blame. That was something that I didn't know.
Because he has final say. He has final say.
I guess he does. I guess he does have final say.
I mean, what else do you have? Well, you're not going to talk to your offensive coordinator on that. You're just going to be like, all right, you're here 6 days of the week, but on game day, I'm not going to fucking look at you. Like, I don't know. He made what you have to say.
No, I know it's weird. I know it's weird, but he made it sound like, oh yeah, like I'm also like we're both calling the plays like it's a
like
that's
a thing. That's a very real thing.
He made it sound like
head coaches. It is. It's just head coaches. They got to take it's their football team. They got to take like if you're taking play calling responsibility, even if you're checking in with your guy, you have the final say. You're the one radioing it into Jalen saying yes, or you're the one giving it the okay to the offense coordinator to give to the quarterback. Like that's the thing.
That's what he said. He said Steichen calls the play in to the quarterback through the headset or whatever. I don't know
exactly, but he's signing off on that. He's like, my football team. I got to take responsibility. Got a little fuzz in my mouth from the Santa hat. It's very Christmas, so Christmassy. Just getting fuzz in my mouth. And there we are, Sam. Look at this offense versus the Washington football team. 27 points, 519 total yards. My God, 281 passing, 231 rushing. Oh my, 7-13 on 3rd down and 35 minutes time of possession. And look at that run pass split. If you had told me week 3 of the season that we'd be in a playoff push running the ball 40 times a game, I'd say no way.
No.
They're not going to be running the ball 40 times a game, and that's why we're not going to be in the playoff push. Here we are. They've adapted. We played all right penalty-wise, didn't give up too many yards that way. We made it happen.
Absolutely, man. It was really well played football game, minus the first quarter. I mean, I feel like we got to keep saying that just because the first quarter was so awful.
Dude, that had me like, it was almost, it reminded me of that first and a lot of games have this vibe, but the one that really sticks out in my mind is that first drive of the 2018 NFC Championship game against Minnesota when they just
Mm-hmm.
like very easily marched down the field and scored a touchdown. And I was just like, oh no,
Yep.
that hasn't happened to us in a while. And they just did it to us. So now we're screwed. But then we turned it around, and the same thing happened here. And
Yeah.
it was a great game to watch. It was
Mm-hmm.
it was good to see. I mean, even though it was Garrett Gilbert in the backfield, and we'll get into that when we talk about the defense after
Yeah.
the doghouse. But yeah, you know what, Sam? Speaking of the doghouse,
Yeah.
especially because we're talking about the running game, we can have a little
Mm-hmm.
conversation here about what's going on inside the stadium, but not on the field. And that we'll go ahead and do that in the doghouse, brought to you by Wide Plank Floor Supply. Visit their website at www.wideplankfloorsupply. If it's wide, they've got it. Sam Glavin, you got a very interesting doghouse, but it is not without merit. In fact, I think I agree with you, but lay it on the people here.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put Miles Sanders in the doghouse. After a 135-yard game, it just wasn't good. No, I'm just kidding. He
I don't think
posted.
he left a lot of meat on the bone, man.
Yeah, he did. He left a lot of meat on the bone. No, that's not the reason I put him in the doghouse. He put out a tweet, and I feel like this is a very important detail. He put out a tweet at 2 a.m. And said, "Please stop, please stop booing the players. Like, to the fans, we put our hearts and souls into this." And then, Jalen Reagor liked it, and Darius Slay retweeted, quote tweeted it, and he was like, "Please stop." Dude, like, were you in the game for that first quarter? You all deserve to be booed. Are you kidding me? Jalen Reagor deserves to be booed every time he stepped onto the football field. He got booed, dude. Jalen Reagor got booed as soon as he stepped onto the field for his first punt return. And they were like, the announcer was like, "Now taking back the punt for the Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Reagor." Boo.
That's
fully
rough.
deserved.
Yeah.
Fully deserved.
Yeah.
And I don't care. So get off Twitter, go nurse that ankle, put some ice on it, and run for another 135 yards this weekend.
Please
get off your phone. Thanks.
Yeah, Sam, I can't really disagree with you. I mean, look, based on the intel that I had from inside the stadium, the Liberty Lions' own Luke Arcaney was in the mix last night. And he did say that even after that big gain by Reagor, he still got booed pretty aggressively, which I will say is a little rough. And it may have been a little bit excessive, but when you play that poorly for as long as he has, there's kind of a point, and you tweet about and you act the way that you have on social media about it, you're going to end up getting booed. But Sam, I'm with you. It's like there's a point. Look, I'm not saying everyone needs to boo. I don't even boo that much, but I reserve my right to boo. If I feel the need to boo, if I paid the money or if someone's paid the money and I'm at this game, especially as someone who I spent a lot of money on Eagles gear. I watch the games. Football and everything is nothing without the fans. These guys are making millions and millions and millions of dollars. I once had a truck driver. Look here, you know what? Here, I'll say this. They get booed by people, and then they can go home and count their millions of dollars, all right? They can count their millions, or at least the guys that are complaining are making millions of dollars here. Yeah. Meanwhile, when I was working at Penske, I got called, and this is just quoting, I was called a retard by somebody because they didn't understand how Bluetooth worked, and I was trying to explain it to them. And I was making $18 an hour and 50 cents, which by is nothing to sneeze at, but it's not nearly as much, nor is it as mine was a lot more personal. It was a one-on-one interaction. Booed. It doesn't. You got your money. I have my money. I feel no sympathy. Our own beer can brain almost got stabbed trying to, work in customer service, not making millions of dollars.
Yeah. Did you see the arguments that Darius Slay was trying to make in the in the replies and stuff? He was like, "Let me come into your job, and like when you screw up, I'll boo you."
People fucking do that every day at my job or at most jobs. Like a lot of jobs that people work. I'm like, that's when, because beer can brain was just like, clearly he's never worked customer service. I wonder why he hasn't had to do that. And as someone who has worked in customer service and has dealt with, some very interesting people from all over the country in a lot of different ways, calling me strictly when they have a problem. I have no fucking sympathy if you get booed making $5 million a year. You're going to be fucking fine.
Yeah.
You're going to be A-okay, buddy. I have no sympathy. So,
And
Sam,
if you're
I'm
not,
so
take
with
some of
you.
that money and go see a therapist or something.
Yeah.
Figure
You
it
can
out.
afford it. That's
Yeah.
one of the biggest issues for people. Like, Darius Slay can come into someone's job in the service industry and berate them, but then they don't have anyone to talk to about it. Darius Slay has got a whole team of fucking people you can talk to at the link. It's a whole thing. Access, Sam. Access. We don't have the access. America doesn't have the access these guys do to things. I don't want to fucking hear it. I'm sure you work hard. I don't want to hear it. I'm with you, Sam. I'm with you 100% of the way.
Who do you got in the doghouse?
I've got the NBA and Adam Silver in general. Just like, dude, the whole way that this COVID outbreak has been handled with the NBA has been dog shit. Just because, I mean, look, I'm watching games where there's nobody playing. The most notable name on the court is DeMarcus Cousins, and that would have been cool like 7 years ago, 6 years ago. But when he's the premier name on a Milwaukee Bucks roster, that's how you know the COVID's gotten out of hand. And it's time to just literally, like, we figured out how to do this now too. It's not like when they shut down the league before because we had no fucking idea what we were dealing with COVID. Now they know how to deal with it. They have protocols in place. Like, just take a winter break. I know the Bundesliga does it. I know a lot of sports leagues across the world take like a 2-week winter break. Just shut it down for 2 weeks. Let everybody get healthy. And then resume play with tighter restrictions based on, what's related to the virus. Not what we've been doing here, where some games are getting pushed back while other teams are being forced to play with guys off the street. There's a whole COVID exemption now because part of why they're allowing teams to sign guys off the street, essentially, because they don't want to miss out on the revenue. They don't want to, especially Christmas Day is coming up. They don't want to miss out on that Christmas Day money. It's the biggest day in the NBA calendar, at least in the regular season. So they can't have that happen. But it's resulting in a horrible product in 99% of games. I used to be able to sit and watch the NBA. I could watch any game. I could just sit and watch. Now I'm just like, I'm watching the G League, it feels like. When I'm watching half of these games, I'm like, why do I even have League Pass? What am I even – why am I supporting this product? It's horrible. So make it fucking stop. And it's especially annoying because the Sixers have been forced to play through so many different COVID outbreaks and just injury bugs throughout the years, especially in this last year. The 7 Sixers in that Denver Nuggets game last year rings a bell, and it happened again this season. And now the Bulls and other teams are getting favoritism, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, as much as, it screwed over the Eagles, postponing that game was probably the right thing to do. I mean, like the NFL, I think the NFL, like, it sucked. Like, it's like the Eagles got kind of got screwed. They got to play on Sunday. It's like 3 days of practice and then like a rest day and then the game. But the game against the Giants, but like, that was the right thing to do. I mean, like they would have missed out I don't think anybody would have watched or that game like might not have been played because it was forfeit.
Right.
So they would have lost out on that TV money. It's all about the money, man.
It's what it's all about, man. It's what it's all about. And you know what else is all about money? Think of the quality wood you can get for a quality price from Wide Plank Floor Supply. This has been the Doghouse, brought to you by Wide Plank Floor Supply. Visit their website at www.wideplankfloorsupply.com. Get a recommendation for a contractor. Get a quote. Wide Plank Floor Supply. If it's wide, they've got it. Sam, the defense is continuing to play very, very solid, letting up pretty much 17 points a game over their last few games. Looking very good. Darius Slay, the Pro Bowler, along with Jason Kelce, who we didn't mention. And I don't know why we always have to do this. I don't know why we have to always cover this, that Wide Plank Floor Supply does not do fences. Because
why we do this all the time.
I don't know why
every time.
I don't know why Drew is so hung up on it. I don't know, because it's never been advertised as such. And quite frankly, you'd be a fool to think that they do fences. If you go into a floor.
Yeah. It's in the title. Literally in the title. Wide Plank Floor Supply.
Floor.
But
Sam, we're talking about the defense here. Darius Slay allowing 28 yards receiving per game this year. I mean, he had another excellent game. What did you see from the defense yesterday? Because there was a lot to like. I understand it, it wasn't their best their best guy, but we held Terry McLaurin to fewer receiving yards than Jalen Reagor. So we did something right.
Hey, that'll play. Yeah, that'll definitely play. The guy I wanted to point out is actually not in the secondary. It's Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox actually got off his ass and did something this season, which is pretty cool. He had 1.5 sacks, which is more sacks than he's had all year long. He's had one sack all year. Now he's got 2.5. So that's pretty cool. And it was, you know what, you know how I know Fletcher Cox has been having a down year? I forgot what his sack celebration was. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, like that's a sick celebration. Like that's an awesome one. Like it's so good. I love the crawl and then the bam. Like it's the best. But I think Fletcher Cox, I think it was something psychological going on with Fletcher Cox. Like I was listening to the radio today, and they made guys made a pretty good point, even though it was a bad show. Anyways, Carson Wentz, literally one of his best friends, gone. He was boys with Doug Peterson, gone. Zach Ertz, gone. The only other guy is Jason Kelsey, and he doesn't really he's asked to be like a leader on this defense, and he hardly knows any of the other guys,
Yeah, there's a lot of new people.
And then they go 2-5, and he's like, oh, what the hell am I even doing here? I mean, which is not a really great mental thing to have going on.
No, that'll happen with veteran guys in the NFL. Yeah, you're right.
It'll happen, but now he's like, oh shit, maybe we're gonna make the playoffs, and I gotta get my rear end into gear, and maybe today was the day that they flipped it to the other side of the coin. So I thought that was he had a fantastic game. He was putting pressure on the quarterback all day long. Granted, it was whatever the fuck is it, Gilbert Gibson or whatever the hell his name is. I don't even remember. But yeah,
Garrett Gilbert.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's right. December Fletch is back.
Yeah, dude, he stepped up. I mean, we've been talking about Javon Hargrave all year, how good he's been, and honestly, I'm surprised he wasn't a Pro Bowler.
I am too. I thought he was going to get it.
He's been excellent. I mean, he's made Fletcher Cox almost an afterthought. But if we can hit this, divisional stretch to close out the regular season, possibly make the playoffs with these two guys, playing at their best, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. I mean, we got Fletch peaking at just the right time.
Yep.
So we'll see what can happen. And yeah, Javon Hargrave did peak pretty early. And there's a lot of recency bias with the Pro Bowl. It's a very flawed system. All pro is really the only thing that matters. The Pro Bowl, in my opinion, is probably the worst entity in sports. I think I hate the Pro Bowl. I think it's total dog shit.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan at all. And
he's right, Ryan. Jake Elliott was the biggest snub out of everybody on the Eagles team. He was. He's been one of the best kickers in the NFL, and he's been the most consistent, and nobody's talking about him. He got NFC Special Teams Player of the Month this past month, but other than that, he was, I believe he was a true snub. I agree with Unable 29. I agree. I know you hate him, but it's true.
I'm upset. No, yeah, I was honestly shocked when I saw he didn't make Pro Bowl either. I actually picked him up for fantasy. The fantasy playoffs. I'm literally a rat. I'm a weasel.
You are
I was like, fuck it, man. But hey, dude, Gannon's defense figured it out. They're playing football. Still a little too passive at times. And I mean, look at that. I mean, look at who we were playing against. I mean, it's the Washington football team. They're very bad.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's interesting.
Interesting. Speaking of Pro Bowl, I thought probably should have gotten a closer look at was Jordan Mailata. I thought he got snubbed a little bit too.
I think 11 of our guys got snubbed.
We were talking. Realistically, we had I was thinking about. We had 5 guys that could have been in the Pro Bowl this year, and we're a 500 team.
Yeah,
how crazy is that? I really do think that 5 of our guys should have got. So let's go through it. Jake Elliott.
Go through Jake Elliott.
Yeah, Jake Elliott.
Yeah, but that doesn't count as 5 guys.
Come on.
It's a kicker. I mean, what is he?
Jake Elliott, Jordan Mailata, Darius Slay, Jason Kelsey, Dallas Goedert. I feel like Goddard could have had a shot.
I don't know about all that.
I don't know,
I
man.
don't
He
know
was
about
at.
all that.
I
He's
don't
had
know.
some games with no yards at all.
That's
You
true,
don't
I
really make the
guess,
Pro
but
Bowl with 0-yard games. It's
did he
just
really
not.
have a couple games with 0 yards?
Well, if there was less than 50, and a lot of them, as someone who has them on my fantasy bench, I've never once thought, damn, I should have started him over Kittle. I've never really thought. I've
Yeah,
never ended up thinking that,
I guess you're right.
Hawkinson's another guy. There's some good tight ends in the NFC. So I understand
Yeah.
why Dallas Goedert wouldn't end up in the mix. But
I don't know, man.
regardless.
Yeah,
Regardless.
it's just crazy that we have so many of these guys that are just even in the conversation of
We have
making
a
the Pro
talented
Bowl.
football team. That's part of why Eagles fans were so angry early in the season. I mean, except for our linebacking core at the beginning, we really were just devoid of talent and we didn't know how to use it. But our linebackers are figuring it out and they don't look horrible. They don't look horrible. Granted, this is against the Washington football team. And you take a look at the teams that we've beaten. We beat Atlanta, horrible. Carolina, horrible. Washington, horrible. Lions, horrible. Broncos, horrible. Kind of horrible. Not a good team. And we lost to the Chiefs, the Chargers. We lost to the Raiders, which was a little odd. But like you just take a we lost to good teams and we beat bad teams. Which I mean that's what in my opinion that's what a 7 seed should look like in the NFL.
You're right. I mean,
playoff team.
But that's also what worries me. Like if we somehow do make the playoffs, we haven't beaten a real quarterback at all this year.
No, we haven't.
Not once. And we have been very like with our strength of schedule in terms of quarterbacks has been very low. So, and like you're right, we've been beating the teams most of the time. We're beating the teams that we should beat, but we haven't beaten a real quarterback, and that's concerning for the playoffs because teams that make the playoffs have good quarterbacks.
It's true.
So,
and we're left in an interesting spot. We're left in an interesting spot with Jalen Hurts heading into this. I mean, obviously he's going to be he's the starter. Everybody, I'm glad he played as well as he did, just to shut everybody up about Gardner Minshew for a little bit because like that was getting like really annoying. But
I was so annoyed.
it was the exact game that I needed out of Jalen Hurts. It really was, and it was the exact game I needed out of our defense to just shut it down. They started out pretty shitty because of the early turnovers. They were given pretty good field position. The defense got a little screwed there, but it was all right. It all turned out all right.
Yeah, Unable 29 brings up a good point here. My favorite part of this football team is the young depth on the O-line. Driscoll, Herbig, and Sua are all solid pieces. You'll love to see it. I'm going to give you a little bit of a hot take here, Ryan. And I don't know what the rules are for this particular award, but Jeff Stoutland should be in consideration for Coach of the Year. I'm serious.
No, I know.
I'm dead serious.
Part of why I'm laughing is because I do agree. It's just that's not who the award is for.
Yeah, I know. That's why I have no idea what the award.
Which sucks. But he should end up in the Hall of Fame. He should end up in the Eagles Ring of Honor, up in the stadium. He should have he should have a lifetime contract today. And
blank check.
When Stout goes, everyone will see how good he really was. It's like, if you're denying that he's good, like, there's a reason that the organization has kept him around after going through multiple head coaches. And there's a reason that we were able to draft. Like, if any team was going to be able to draft a almost 7-foot rugby player that had never played a down of football in his life and teach him to play offensive line, the Eagles were going to be able to do it. And it's not because Jeffrey Lurie is such a great owner. It's not because we have a great team of coaches. It's not because we have a great front office. It's because we have one man in our building, Jeff Stoutland. turned Jason Kelce into something truly special. I mean, there was talk for years early in his career, he's dog shit. Get him out of here. He's too small. And then now he's, in my opinion, a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Like, if not first ballot, very soon after. And it's
Mhm.
clear that our offensive line, especially when we're running the football like this, it's great to take advantage of an excellent offensive line. I mean, we saw Dallas do it for years with Zeke. And now we can finally do that. Now we finally have a head coach that's willing to go, you know what? I'm not going to run the ball too much. Not that I'm complaining about Doug Peterson. He won a Super Bowl. But in terms of his stubbornness, he wasn't going to run the ball. That just wasn't his prerogative. And now that's what Nick Sirianni's doing. And we've got a ton of success in the run game, especially this latter half of the season. And I think we're going to make the playoffs. Who we play on Sunday? We play the Giants.
Giants,
Sam.
yes.
We play the Giants at the Link.
Mm-hmm.
Who you got, buddy?
Before I got one point on Jeff Stoutland real quick. My prime example of just how good Jeff Stoutland is Jordan Mailata. He literally didn't play football 4 years ago. He was a rugby player.
I did say that. You're right.
You did? Oh, did you say that? I'm sorry. Oh, my bad. I guess I wasn't listening.
I guess not.
I heard Jason Kelce. That's why I guess I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Let's talk about the Giants. Fuck it.
Who you got, Sam?
It's the Eagles. It's got to be the Eagles. I mean, freaking Jake Fromm is going to start for the Giants, right? I mean, we can't lose to Jake Fromm.
We can't, right? We can.
I love this game at Georgia, but he's not an NFL quarterback. Are you kidding me? He's terrible.
No.
Their defense sucks. They can't run the football. They have a terrible offensive line. The fact that we lost to them earlier in the season just makes it even more a fact that we're going to win, because they're going to be like, I cannot believe we lost to these fucking assholes. Let's go run it down their throats.
Yeah.
Score prediction 45-2.
We give up a safety?
Yep. We give up a safety in the first quarter. And we're gonna be like, all right, well, we're gonna lose the game, just like the football team game. We're playing shit in the first quarter. We'll give up a safety, and then we'll score 45 consecutive points.
Nice. I like a 30-9 Eagles.
There you go. Nice. So a touchdown and a safety?
No, actually, 3 field goals. Just 3 field goals. It's either 3 field goals or they score a touchdown and then they go for 2 because they're down a lot late and then they don't get it. And so then it's just
that's
so good. I like that. I like that a lot.
It's it's a must win. I mean, we have to win out from here, right?
We absolutely have to. We absolutely have to. We do. Heading into the holidays, there's a lot of stuff that the city of Philadelphia needs right now. One of them is a competent basketball team. We don't have that.
No,
we don't have a competent basketball team here in the city of Philadelphia. We really don't. We have Joel Embiid and a bunch of freaking morons, and occasionally Seth Curry when he decides to be Seth Curry. But outside of that, I mean, especially now, we got 4 guys on the COVID list. Like, there's really not a lot to talk about. I mean, Joel Embiid had a great game the other night, dropped a 40 burger, blah, blah, blah. Got the win over an inferior opponent like they should have. Like, I'm not looking at this team seriously until we make a move. Like, I'm going to watch the games. You know, we have some bright spots, but it's the same story with everybody. And it's crazy. I just see people on Twitter talking about how I can't believe they're keeping Paul Reed down in the G League when, like, some team is going to throw a bag at him next year. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I'm like, bro, Charles Bassey has impressed me more than Paul Reed in the NBA. And I fucking love Paul Reed. You know this.
Yeah, I know you do.
You know this.
Who's going to throw a bag at Paul Reed?
That's exactly what I'm fucking saying, dude. Sixers fans, especially on Twitter, dude. I talked about it before with the vibes and all that. There's so much delusion and such an overvaluing of Sixers players by our fan base. And, I mean, obviously that doesn't translate into what the front office actually does, but it just, like, results in a lack of accountability for, like, making the right moves. I mean, like, you could easily do something with somebody. Like, Paul Reed is not the reason. Like, if you bring up Paul Reed, that's not going to change the face of this season. That's not how this is going to work. What we need to do to make this team better is trade Ben Simmons for somebody. And until we do that, I think this might be the last Sixers segment on the show. Yeah. I really do. Unless something crazy happens.
Yes!
Like, I think we might, or at least until the Eagles are over, like, we may not need to talk about the Sixers because this is the final verdict. This is a 6 seed or below, possibly a play-in team. This is the if we don't trade Ben Simmons, I don't care who else we trade, what other moves we make, this is a 6 seed or lower. Yeah. And are they worth your attention? Sure. If you like basketball, sure. But are they worth your true time and energy and hard-earned money? Absolutely not. Don't go to the games unless, like, it's a fun outing. There are other fun outings. Don't go to a Sixers game. It's over. For right now, it's over. Don't pay attention to them more than you absolutely have to, because this team is in no way going to do anything of substance. And we've waited too long for them to do that, for us to just compromise now. Yeah. I'm done. I'm done with it. Yeah. I'll watch the games. Sam, you won't hear a peep out of it from me. I know how little you like to talk about the Sixers in the first place, so it's good. It just seems to be a win-win for all of us, because I'm fucking annoyed that I have to watch such a bad fucking basketball team after 10 years of being horrible, because there's a stubborn fucking nerd in our front office that nobody likes, so they won't trade their lunch with him. It's like, this is like, fuck it. I'm starting to hate Daryl Morey. I really am. And I'm wearing the sweater, and it's making my room hot, and it's making me hot, and I'm getting angry. So I'm done. I'm done.
Okay.
Sixers are over.
I got some questions for you. No. I got one question about the Sixers, and then I have some questions about the Eagles about this next game. So my one Sixers question is it possible / do you move Tobias Harris at the trade deadline?
Yeah, get him the fuck out of there. I mean, I don't know what you get for him, but I mean, you can. There's like 100 guys in the league that can do what Tobias can do.
True.
Yeah, at like half the price, and there's like 250 players in the league.
Mm-hmm. That's all I need to know. So I feel like we kind of just bring it back to the Eagles before we end it off. We kind of brushed over this whole Nick Sirianni with having COVID thing. Do you think that we should be a little bit concerned that he might not be there if against the Giants?
No. I'm sure it'll be fine. Giants suck.
That's it. Yeah.
Like, okay. I don't think it's gonna be. Because here's the thing. I've been thinking about it all day, and I really am not too concerned about it. It's not like, it's obviously not ideal, but you take a look at the Giants. You take a look at who's on their sideline. Joe Judge, who's a fucking moron.
Yeah,
literally the dumbest person in the NFL, probably.
Philly card revoked. Yeah,
fully revoked. Mm-hmm. He's been exiled. We've Napoleoned him. He is gone. He can't hurt us anymore.
Yeah,
but yeah, dude, I'm not too worried. Maybe Sirianni will like radio in from like the top of the Comcast Center. You know, as he
just give him his own press box. I don't see the harm in that. Give him his own press box.
That would make sense, right?
Yeah.
I remember there was a college football coach that coached from a hospital bed in a press box, or like up in a box, and he was in a hospital bed.
Oh,
he was fucked.
I remember that too.
Was it Hugh Freeze? No,
I don't know.
Bob Stoops?
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up.
I don't know.
Oh, so, bro, Seamus, if you want to come in here and talk Flyers while I look this up, you're more than welcome.
Get after it.
Yeah. You're goddamn right. I want to do that.
What's going on, buddy?
Gentlemen, hello.
MSG.
I'm gonna need a little bit of time because my mic situation is not working, but that's okay.
Oh, that's good. But I have the answer to that question, Ryan. You were spot on, and it was Hugh.
I'll be right back.
That was spot on. You were right. It was Hugh Freeze.
Bang!
Yeah,
Wow.
spot on.
I am special.
Mm-hmm.
Better than most.
It was his coaching. Wait, Hugh Freeze made one of the most unique coaching debuts. He made his debut from the from the hospital bed.
That can't be true. It was his debut? That's absurd. I didn't know that. Jesus Christ.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Wait, who did he coach for? Liberty.
Sorry about that.
Coach for Liberty. That's crazy. And he was playing number 22 Syracuse at the time. That's unreal.
That's really
love that.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
on
Seamus, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm sorry about that,
Okay.
gentlemen.
Yeah.
You know, I'm usually behind the glass, so yeah. Merry
It's true.
Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Yeah.
You can call
The
it that.
Flyers. Holidays, everybody. So yeah, a little bit of stick talk. The Flyers have the whole NHL has a COVID pause right now. But before that, the Flyers had a win and a loss in OT. The loss was to the Canadiens in a shootout. The win was against the Senators, and the Senators aren't great, so it's like not a great look that we had to go to OT to do it. And so that's what happened. That's what happened with the Flyers. I do have a little poem for Joel Embiid, though. This week's
Go.
Seamus says, and it goes as follows: a made man whose envelopes are large, who is worth the investment of time, unlike the other guy who we don't talk about. Well, only to say he plays less than fine. I test and he passes with flying celebrations, a father of two sons, Arthur and the association. His shot is poor, even against the double. They hate the process, and we love the progress. Look how far he's come since that series in the bubble. Hinkley was right, even under a great deal of duress, and now we all know he should be the MVP'd.
Nice.
So yeah, a little something.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
I do agree with Conway though. The Sixers are not fun to watch.
No,
suck.
they suck.
It's like
Flyers
ass.
know better. Flyers know better.
Nobody knows how to dribble a basketball. And Joel Embiid is leading the team in assists, which is fucking embarrassing.
That is so bad. I didn't even know that. That's awful.
No, that's not true. That's not actually true. But
Okay.
there are games where he leads the team in assists, and I'm like, that is fucking embarrassing.
That's
I hope not on
right.
this. I'm looking up Sixers assist leader.
Oof, that is awful.
All right, well, I understand Maurice Cheeks has the most ever. So I asked.
That's even embarrassing, even for a guy Tyrese Maxey isn't like a point guard one. But
so Tyrese Maxey leads the team with 4.7 assists per game. Joel Embiid is number 2 with 4.4. This is not okay. This cannot happen. He is not Jokic. We do not have the guys around him for him to be Jokic. We don't need him to be Jokic if we just have a fucking point guard and guys that can create their own shot. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't get it.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Terrible. Any of you gentlemen got anything else?
Fuck them.
Yeah, facts. Facts.
Gentlemen, until next week.
Yeah, until next week. All right. Thanks, everybody, so much for listening to this edition of the Wolves of Broad Street podcast. Brought to you by Y-Plug Floor Supply. Brought to you by Parks Casino Sportsbook. Download the Parks Sportsbook app and bet today. Sign up with our code Wolves69 for your risk-free bet of up to $500. Thanks so much to Drew and Vic for letting us yell and scream about Philadelphia sports on their platform. Check out the libertyline.com. Follow at libertylinephl. Follow us at samglavin06, at ryanconway76, at shamelessly.sg. Follow all of our Wolves of Broad Street accounts of various social medias at Wolves of Broad ST. Buy a shirt. Merry Christmas. Seamus G. Close it down.